Hey Potters and everybody else. Last video I did a no talking where I threw some pretty tragic mugs. But this time I'm gonna do it more like I would normally do it. I was experimenting. I'd never used these thin sponges before. It's more of a learning curve than I thought. I'm used to having this in my hand like this. Hold it, squeeze it. So, I gotta get my number one tool though. I almost forgot. Number two. Get these guys here. Got my sponge on a stick and my wooden knife. Okay. So, watch me spiral wedge some clay. Did that in silence. It's just one of those skills you have to kind of cultivate. I'm hoping to get a pug mill that de-airs to help cut down on some of that. But for the time being, just wedging. So I'm throwing porcelain today, standards cone 6. I'm also throwing on EMF matte bats. Porcelain doesn't stick, for me, very well on plastic. And so the first step to everything is waking everything up. And so I've got my chamois here, this thing that looks super gross whenever it gets, and it will get lost in the slip. Gotta wake it up. It's a piece of lambskin. I'll wake up my sponges. I'm gonna try these. I'm gonna try the thin ones again. I can see why everybody likes them so much. Yeah, I like how I can hold it in my hand. Let's try them. But I'm gonna have my regular little backup sponges to get them waking. Everybody awake. Sponge on a stick. Get you awake. Okay. So I've got 1 pound and 4 ounces wedged out here of this porcelain. It's important to have a pretty even wedge. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty difficult to center. So always start out as easy as you can. I put a little bit of water on only on my EMF bats, so the porcelain doesn't like to stick to them otherwise. But you'll see that I start with a dry bat with other clay bodies. But just gonna try to get this as close to center as possible. Lots of people like to slam it down. I normally would, but I'm trying to make it a little bit more of a peaceful demo. Try and get it as, oh, and these bats have this really cool feature where I can just like pick it up. So I can go pretty fast. I'm making cups today because everybody likes cups. They're very popular, and I want to make I got my metal ribs today. I got a new one at Dogwood Ceramics. I'm really excited about this guy. I can make more angular forms because I wanted to play with some decals. Got some of Mako's white opal glaze brush on to play around with. I much prefer dips. I also throw Asian style, so I center with my right hand. European or Western style, you'll be centering with your left hand, and I would be doing that, and that's how I was originally taught, except for when I was a kid, I got kicked in the chest by a horse, so I have a big old bunch of scar tissue under my left clavicle, and so my arm was going numb while I was centering. So what that means is whenever you center with your right hand, like, you need to have the wheel spinning clockwise, Normally, you'd have it spinning counterclockwise if you were centering into your left hand. But my wheel needs to be spinning clockwise. So, I usually start it kind of slow. Get a little seal around the bottom. That's a Florian Gadsby trick. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but that's my dog going crazy. He's an English Mastiff, so he's got a big old bark. I throw on a Shimpo Whisper. I know that's a contentious topic amongst potters. Some people love the Shimpo. I love the Shimpo. Some people hate it because it doesn't have the sound of the belt like a Brent does, so it's harder to gauge the speed if you throw by sound. I like it. Just get to where you kind of can gauge it. I like how quiet it is. My feet are actually propped up on 4x4s because whenever I throw, my legs are too short to brace myself. So, I'll go ahead and get the clay kind of wet. Get my hands wet. And we're going to start with this. This is the essential skill. I'm sure you've seen a million videos about centering. You can see it kind of, what happens with a lot of folks, and what happened with me, is that like you are kind of reticent to actually grab and hold on to the clay. But what's important with clay is that you are the one holding steady. You are holding the clay. The clay is not moving you. You are going to move the clay. So to center, we're going to start with this long bone here is going to be basically your lever. You're trying to push this clay towards the center using this part, the heel of your hand, as a brace. But you don't want to be back here. You can compress your carpals that way. And so you want to try and keep your hand pretty flat and keep the meat of your palm against the clay. So make sure we're nice and wet. And I learned this trick from a YouTube potter. I'll have to find her so I can link her. For women especially, you can find your hip point. You can wedge your arm into your hip point. Male potters tend to throw higher up on their chest. They have generally wider rib cages and more upper body strength. But for women, lady potters, our center of gravity originates more in our pelvis. And so that's where I like to brace my arm, is against inside my hip point there. So now do that, and I like to start by just kind of bracing both arms, one on my thigh and one against my hip point there, just kind of calming the clay down. I'm gonna get a little sticky, but you can see it's a little bit more regular of a surface. And I like to wedge on the wheel, which means I cone up and down. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm gonna press with the heel of my hand and scoop up, keeping my thumbs on top to keep it from going wild. Alright, so scoop up from the bottom, and you don't want to squeeze it too hard because you'll rip it off, and you will rip it off. It's just how well it's going to be. You're going to rip it off before you get the hang of it. This is pretty good. I'm going to wedge it one more time, just because it's fun. Your thumb on top. Okay. Now then. And you can see it's got kind of a little swizzle here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I like to take the skirt off a little bit on the bottom. Actually don't know if it helps or not, but I just like it. It's part of my routine. And the potters all have their different routines. You can see I got a little wedge there, just sculpt it back in. Doesn't really matter. Get your hands nice and wet, right? Now, wedged against my hip point, right? So, the way that this was best explained to me, and this was from Earth Nation, I think is the name, for coning down the clay, is it's like in Dragon Ball Z, whenever he pushes forward, right? But we don't want our hand back like that. It's a little straighter, but you're going to push the clay forward, and you're going to use this hand, whatever your non-dominant hand, whatever hand you're not centering with, as in a karate chop motion on the top. So I like to hold a sponge in my hand, and we always want our hands linked, 2 points of contact. I like to hold it like this, so that way I can be pushing against this part of my thumb. Okay, and here we go. Pushing forward, forward, and you can see it's starting to go down, right? And we want to keep our right hand steady, because what we want to do is create, I'm getting a little wet here, and you can see it's getting a little off center, or a little dry rather, the opposite of wet. And so I'm pushing, using my body weight, everything is tense. Oh, it's porcelain. Look at that. I was a little too rough with it, add a little too much water. That's okay. That's just how it goes sometimes. Some people say throwing with porcelain is like throwing with cream cheese. I don't. We're going to gently take our hands away. Got our little huck. You see how it looks like a little mushroom almost? Let's see. The way you can tell it's centered is when you put your hand on it. It feels like it's not moving. That's pretty centered. And again, because you're human, some people can can really perfectly center. But because you're human, you're almost always going to have a little bit of wobble. I like it going pretty fast, and so now we're going to do the part that's called opening the clay. And I like to drop my sponge for this. So we need to make a divot in the center of the clay, right? Always got our hands connected. And what we're trying to do, depending on if we want a foot or not on these, which I really don't, is we want to get about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And you just start kind of figuring out where that is. You can see this little part raises up, and like you can just sculpt it down. You definitely want it sculpted down, so it'll just be a pain later. Okay? Got it basically open right now, and then what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go trying to keep it, we're setting the bottom here, and then we'll make it about like, you want the opening to be about where you want it to be for the entire mug, for the entire form. So a lot of times what you have to do with pottery, and some people don't, and that's their process. Some people don't do this, but I am a planner. I like to know what I'm doing before I even get started. Sometimes I'll just jump on the wheel though. And so we've got our open puck here. And it's still pretty centered. So now we're gonna do, we're gonna cone this up before we slow our wheel down. We're gonna keep it going pretty fast. And we want this to head up. And the reason we want it to head up is so that we can start with a form that's going to be conducive to work with. Because like if you have a form that's wide at the top, it's going to be wobbling all over the place, and we don't want that. We want to start with almost a volcano-like shape. And so this is how I like to do it. Ooh, we're still a little dry. We don't want to be dry. No drying. So holding my thumb, pushing, and I'm kind of hand comes off gently, I got my little pot. And so this is where, I'm actually going to come down in speed just a little. We're going kind of fast. So this is where I'm going to do a little thumb pull here. I want the inside to be moist. And so we're just going to use the sponge and we're just going to be pushing forward. There we go. Got your little volcano. And then we're going to do a little compression here. You just want that rim to stay nice and tight. It's always about compressing the clay. And who knows, maybe you'll get to see a crash today. And see, from setting our little mushroom, we have this little divot at the bottom. Now I want to bring the wheel speed down. Now, one thing I do have a complaint about with my Shimpo Whisper is that the pedal is tight. So, because I throw Eastern style, that means I'm going to be on the left side of the pot working it instead of the right side of the pot. So that means my right hand is going to go inside, always my right hand on the inside, right? And my left hand will stay on the outside. And so we're going to raise the wall. And y'all got to see some of my uneven walls. Okay. So we're going to try this. We're going to try it. Because we don't grow if we don't experience some pain, right? Can't grow if we don't do new things. So, yeah, it's a little wet on the outside. So you can kind of... And so some people like to throw with their knuckle. I like to knuckle throw sometimes. Where they raise the wall up. Some people throw with the tip of their finger. Some people throw with their middle finger. I'm going to do a thumb pull first, which means that this... Ooh, I should have wedged better. Doing better this time than that other video. You want to compress that rim and keep that rim nice and compressed. You can see those throw rings are pretty even. I should go on. I need to go just a little faster for the wheel speed, or I can pull the wheel speed down just a little. This really depends. How you like to do it. I'm gonna check the inside here. I'm gonna stick my hand in here. Oh my goodness. And then let's do a sweep along the bottom, hands connected, and we're just pinching here. And you can see that bead of clay going up, 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 up. I'm trying to set my rim. It's porcelain, so it's plastic, and it looks like we need to do another pull. Porcelain does shrink a lot in the kiln, nice and chunky on the bottom still. So what I can do now is I'm taking clay. I can kind of feel the wall. Cool. Let's get some of that water out of the bottom. It's actually really nice for me to be doing these videos because I can see where I'm messing up. I still got a little skirt right here. I'm going to go ahead and blame the new sponge. There we go. It's almost like easier to nice and tall. I like that height. So now I have plenty to like kind of play with and stretch. Like I said, porcelain is nice and plastic. Good thing about my sponge on a stick is I can get it in there and do a little cheaty, or I can compress the bottom a little bit there. Honestly, anytime I hear people worried about cheating with Giffen grips or whatever, sponge on a stick, like, I don't know. Is the pot made? Doesn't really matter. But every community has gatekeeping, I guess. So I'm gonna do one more little pull. We'll see. Yeah, we need a little bit more water. Oh, porcelain's so smooth. It's so finicky too. I love it, but it is. So we want to put our hand up, our arm up, right? And we're gonna go, wow. Nice tall mug. Okay, nice and tall. And I have a tendency to belly it. It's fine. Is the mug made? Because I do a lot of ribbing anyway. Obviously. Okay, so we got this guy going right here. Kind of tall and narrow. Now all we want to do is kind of make it stretch. Maybe we want to do, I've got my Mud Tools metal rib here that I love. That video you all saw was me playing around with that. So let's make maybe we make kind of like almost because I want this to go to Kurt from Wildwood Studios, who gave me a basically free lecture on decal work. So I want to make sure it's like a big, nice, angular mug. Maybe we do, should we try our new tool? No. We're going to do kind of the goal will be for it to be kind of almost a tapered guy, really smooth. You always want to wet your tools before you use them. And so what you do here, with your hands, make sure we're good here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my rib here. I'll get my hand in here, and I'm going to the purpose of this is twofold. It takes the slip, you can see how smooth that is. I love it, so beautiful. It takes the slip off, and so what that does is it dries out the surface here, which makes it the pot a little more stable, which I like. Okay, this new tool, I really want to try it, but you know, I don't know. I love tools. Oh, you know what? I did what I told y'all not to do. I forgot to wet this tool. That's the best thing about them having the... Ooh, this one's not cutting. We'll go back. We'll put a little bit more water on it so that it's a little more. I got some. I'll go back to this tool that I'm loving. We'll just get it nice and. I like that. That's nice. Obviously, I'm going pretty slow. Get my little sponge on a stick in here again. I'm compressing the bottom and getting water out. Slippy. And sometimes what I'll do, when I want to really smooth, I do like, don't get me wrong, like I love the metal ribs. They are great. Boom, so smooth. Yeah. Now I'm just playing. Okay. So it's kind of tall and narrow. What we want to do now is we want to get that rim nice and comfortable to drink out of. Yeah. Let's see, I got a little bit of that. A little slip. Careful now. Feathered in. Some people are really good at making it super crispy. Always. And I think maybe we'll stretch it out at the top just a little. What do you think? Some people have a lot of, everybody's got their opinions, right? And I probably should have done this. It's so nice. I'm gonna stop fooling with it. That's part of it too, is learning when to quit. And that's never been a strong suit of mine. It's a little heavy on the bottom, I can kind of see it. That looks pretty good. I don't know. Don't mess around with it. I know that's... Could stretch it a little bit more, just a little. Maybe I will. Just a tiny bit. I can see why people are super fans of these sponges. You have to do it sometimes a few times because clay is plastic, right? Wants to spring back. Yeah, this is really nice porcelain too. I need to. There we go. Yeah, making kind of a daddy mug there. I like them big like that. I don't want the coffee. Normally, I wouldn't take nearly with this long. Not even close. And I'm doing like a big production, commission, etc. You don't want to take this long. Okay. So the next step is going to be your wooden rib. You can see I've got a little skirt right there. Not ideal. Generally speaking, I would try not to have that, but you want to be able to get this thing off the wheel. And so just kind of charge in here. And you want to go in. That off of there. Okay. Wooden rib is, I like that little catch. That'll be nice for the glaze. I'm trying to kind of blend it in. The more you do on the wheel, and this form is like foot right here. That's what I hope to maintain, not have to do too much trimming. So the more you do on the wheel, the less you have to do trimming. It kind of gives you this like sharpness to it. Clean up my bat. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Got a little goop there. Last video, I totally forgot to wire things off, so I had to chunk. That's why we had to chunk some of those in that video. So I got my wire here, and you want to go. Nope. You always want to wire, especially with porcelain. Oh my gosh, and it might reset. You never know. I'll show you how I ended up breaking the tip off of my wooden knife. Just like that. But no, it's kind of nice. I kind of like it. This really smooth baby here. This daddy mug. Kind of tall. It'll have a nice spot for a handle. Let's make somebody bigger. Let's make a wider daddy mug. And then we'll make a really pretty mommy mug. Always take a stretch in between. Took a long time on that one. Okay, I'm gonna put these back down here. So we're gonna go put a little bit of actually use my sponge on this. So, let's do it again. And honestly, the truth is, some people are just gonna get this faster than you. Or you might be that person who is getting it faster than everybody else. This took me forever, centering in particular. So let's see. Yeah, let's get in there. I'm just gonna press it. I'll spin it. Right. And like, I don't want to slam it because it makes such a jarring sound. It's always hilarious in the studio whenever somebody's doing that. I'm always jumping. So we're getting our seal on, a la Florian Gadsby. That guy's the man. And I mean, I owe every bit of this to other potters. I feel like that's the best part because I did 2D art for years before this. I was a novelist too. I got my MFA in creative writing of all things. Okay. So we're kind of limpy. Remember what I said? I want to, and make sure whenever you're on the wheel, you want to be nice and close. Because the shorter the distance that you have, the less effort you have to use with your body. So we're kind of lumpy, right? I'm going to get my hands nice and wet. And then just calming the clay down, right? Using the heel of my right hand, keeping it braced against my hip, putting my weight forward, pushing. Okay? Getting a little calmer now. Now we're going to scoop up from the bottom. It's so difficult to explain that movement. I didn't get it for the longest time. I'm kind of a slow learner. So we're getting nice and we're scooping, squeezing, keeping our thumbs on the top because we don't want it to go all crazy. So I got a nice little cone here, right? All right, let's try it with my new flat sponge. See if I like it that way. Okay, here we go. And I'm using the point of my hip to push forward. My wrist is straight. We're pushing. And oh yes, I feel it. Not too much water. Porcelain. Actually pretty lucky with this stuff. I'm curling my fingers in. Squeezing, squeezing. I've been spoiled recently with clay that's come out of a mixer, so it's nice and soft. This is not. Oh yeah, pretty centered. I think we need our puck to be just a little wider. So we always want to make sure let's see, I may have knocked it off there. That is the one thing about these bats with the insets. Sometimes I can just knock them off center. But if I did, that's okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Not perfect, but I'm not perfect. We're going down in the middle. Just it's a little dry, so I'm going to put a little water. And we're just making a V. You can imagine that. I'm pushing straight down. I always wait till I get my bottom set. It's better when you're starting out to have a thick bottom than a thin bottom. See, I got my little goopy here, just sculpt it down. Just don't want that guy to bother us. Alright, so I got my puck, right? I've got some water in there. We're gonna take that out. Let's see. My bottom is a little, but I tend to press as I'm opening. So let's go ahead and open. Let's make a wider mug this time. Boy, do I admire really everyone, but so I'm compressing my bottom here. Some people who have hitchhiker's thumbs, Florian Gadsby, which means your thumb bends backwards. Mine doesn't at all, it's flat. Can just compress their bottom like that. I have to use the tips of these fingers, pressing, because you want that bottom really compressed. And the reason you want that bottom compressed is because you can get what's called an S-crack in the kiln. Alright, that's pretty good. And sometimes I just, if I'm honest, I overdo it. But I like it. So we're trying to get these guys a pretty 90-degree angle from the wall to the floor, something like this. Alright, now I'm actually gonna slow her down just a bit, a little wild. And I'm gonna cone her up. Thinking about doing my thumb pull. There's some, I probably will. Let's do that. I am not putting any pressure. Oh, I knocked her off just a touch. That's okay though. And see, it's kind of like wide. It's generally why I prefer to do the cone first. Okay, sometimes I do my thumb pull first, so I tend to get them a little off. So I did something different. But now I can kind of recenter her. Him. Then the ginger of this pot. Yeah, we're a little wobbly, we're a little off, but that's okay. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, we're a little off. I'm gonna push just a little bit more. It's okay. That's how it's gonna be sometimes. Get a wobble vibe. Well, that's the nature of handmade ceramics, right? Alright. Now then. Blow our speed down. We've got our little volcano going here. A little off center, that's okay. Not a big deal. So I'm gonna get my fingers and thumbs in here, and I'm going to sweep bottom, right? And I'm going to squeeze until we get that bead going. Come on, bead. Up. If you want like throwing marks, some people. I'm looking for the inside here. I'm gonna get my whole hand in here. Oh my gosh. There we go. Hands connected always. That's my second pull. A lot of people say you should have your rim set, the rim thickness set by this point. Oh yeah, we're a little off. That's okay. Pressing. knuckle pull, which I love. I want to do. Get some throw rings on there. That'll give you a really nice texture with a glaze. Not perfect. Nothing is, right, y'all? You could make this a belly mug. Nothing is. The best part. And yeah, and you can see where I tend to kind of belly my mugs out a little bit. But that's okay. Always fixable. And so I have a pretty decent rim here. And now what we're going to do when we're pulling is I'm not going to mess with that thickness too much of that rim anymore. What I want to do like those throw rings. So I'm going to get in here again. Make sure we're getting that off the bottom, right? There we go. This is always my problem. I say I go in with a plan, but I'm lying. Don't believe me. And that's where we stop, right? Give me that texture. That's a pretty good cylinder. Not too bad. I cheat a lot with ribs. It's okay. And that'll be pretty neat. I'm wondering, it might be kind of neat to have like a flared lip here. I don't know. Or pretty. We could try and push this one and just see, right? What happens. What do y'all say? Oh, knocked it off. I can feel it. Oh yeah. You can see where I got a little. Let the ring on the inside so nice. Dry. I do like those throw rings. Okay. So the other question is, should I make it like an angle mug? Might be kind of neat. You can pull it back. Let's try that. We might crash this pot, y'all, and that's okay. I hate it whenever it does that. Okay. Got that slip. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Let's use our new tool. The one that I'm too shy. It's been too shy to use. Ooh, that's sharp. Be careful. Well, we're gonna practice it. Maybe. Okay. And like I said, generally when I'm doing production, I'm not fooling around quite as much. I'm doing a collar here. A little more moisture. Starting here, I'm kind of pulling up, yeah. And that's how we're gonna bring in the mouth a bit. See if we can make it a little crispy. We'll see what we can do. I had a stiff metal rib that I loved. Supporting the wall. This porcelain's pretty dry, which is great for porcelain, but yes, it's there it goes. Let's see if we can fix it. Hey, you wanna come back out and play? Wanna be better? Be okay? Says no. You screwed me up. Alright. Yeah, I pushed this one too far. That's okay. Here we'll that's what we'll do. Improvise. Not what I was looking for. It looks like a Winnie the Pooh pot, really. That'll be a giant mug. That'll be a big one. That'll be lots of coffee there. Yeah, I was trying to make that ankle mug. They're hard. That's why that. Other ones are difficult to do. That's okay. We saved this one. Let's see. Oh, good. I don't have to do too much bottom compression here. That's part of it though, right folks, is like there we go. That'll still be fun. It'll be a fun little mug. Just in case. Let's get the bottom super, super even. Okay. Yeah, I'm playing around too much today. I gotta just show y'all how to. All right. Oh, it's not great to wire it off like I did last time. Be alright. Oh, yeah. Time to stretch. Alright. This time, we're gonna get it. Get the ankle bug. I really want it. It's hard to do. Already. I should be doing. Oh, here's the "Where is my chamois" dance. Where did it go? Did I drop it in the slip? Probably. Is it in here? Nope. Or did I put it somewhere I wasn't supposed to? Where is my chamois? Oh, where is my chamois? Oh, I don't know what I did with it. This is always how it goes. Okay. Well, it's probably in there. Okay. Where did you go? I'm gonna try and keep things in bowls. I got way too into the idea of chamoising. Where are we into doing that ankle bug? Where in the hell did it go? And porcelain feels so smooth. It's in there probably. Alright. I have to get another one. Because I need a chamois. I can be working at a studio. This is the craziest part. I can be working at a studio and keep the same chamois for months. I come to my old home studio. All the chains. I'll lose them. Just anyway. I didn't do my seal, did I? Alright. Chamois crisis averted. Alright, y'all know. Let's get nice and close. Alright, here we go. Hands and arms. Alright. Swizzle is fine. Don't worry too much about that. You can always smooth it out if it really bugs you. It really shouldn't bother do anything, so I can't speak to whether or not it'll bother you. Okay, here we go. Get my trusty. Oh wait, I've been using this one. Let's just like keep this trend going. I kind of like it. Okay, here we go. More centering. Remember, you're trying to keep your body still. We are not trying out my little undercut there. How do I feel about that as far as being centered? It's pretty centered. Gentle. Take your hands off very gently. That's perfect. Okay, so got my little undercut here. One straight to the center, right? You don't want to be pushing straight down. As you could. Honestly, like, I think about this a lot. We talk about this in the studio a lot. Like, what is more important when you're making pots? Is it following every single rule that somebody said? I'm gonna have this one a little bit fatter because maybe we'll get a foot on this guy. Let's see, I've got my little leg. Hump. Let's get that off of there. That is going to be such a pain in the future. Now we're gonna open her up. Whee! This one I'm gonna make a little bit less wide at the bottom. I would like to try and get that angle mug. It is so difficult to do. You can also use your sponge to press and flat the bottom. Yeah. So here we go. I'm gonna cone her back up again, right? So I'm gonna get a little more water. And I'm using I'm going to keep our little tummy, our little we're still pretty centered. Hey, I'm happy with that. Got our little mug. We'll do bigger forms too. Okay, so bring her down, bring down that speed. We don't want it too fast. That's about how I like it. Alright. So. Alright. Is there a thumb pull here? Go. Made a nice cone. Well, volcano. Now, it's just a little fast. Press that in. Okay. So now, let's get our fingers in there. We're pushing towards the center, right? So we're trying to get that cone, just like that. I'm just throwing a little sloppy today. Don't judge me. Or judge me, it's fine. So I can put my whole hand in there, right? Here comes the bead. We want our speed to be even. Okay. got a little like gooper out here. That's no baby. Can always collar her in just a bit. Alright. No big deal. So I'm gonna do a little knuckle pull here. Got that rim set. That's about right. I like those throw rings. Said we were gonna do an angle mode. Here I am, changing my mind. Just because I like it so much. So. I really do like that. Just a regular old cylinder. With those throw rings. Kind of pretty. Sit back and take a look. Yeah. I like that rim too. Let's get some of that water out the bottom there. You can always, yeah. I'm like really wanting to preserve that. I guess I can. Alright. Yeah, I really like that. And I don't want to mess with it anymore. Which is pretty good for me. I guess I could probably make it a little even. More even on the inside there. Let's see. Stretch. A little belly mud. Oh, I do like it though. It's so cute. Some people can rib from the inside. I'm not gonna do it. I'm too scared. I'm too scared, y'all. Some people can do this. I'm wondering. It's basically a throw-in stick. That'll give me a chance to play around and not just like make the same stuff over and over and over and over again. Okay. like that so much. I think I might just keep it. Even though it's not very exciting. I could make it a belly mug. It'd be nice. Let me see. There we go. Just a little tum. Give it a little tum. Oh yeah. I always set out to do something else. This is essentially my playtime though. It's nice. Why do you even love pottery? This is why. See, I just like the slightness of that. What a nerd. What a nerd. Okay. Here we go, let's charge in here. Cool. It's nice. Yes. Oh, nice. Okay. Yes. I can go way faster. I can. It's just I'm playing. Oh, knock that rim a little bit. Hold on. Okay. That's like my freaking Achilles heel. These rims. Yeah, I love throw rings like that. I think they look great. Oh no! Wire casualty. Yeah. Not what I intended to make, but I really like that. Big. I like those big mugs. And like I said, porcelain shrinks. I'm gonna lose about 10% of that. Let's see. What time is it? Okay. So, I went ahead and got my this rib. We're gonna see if we can use that to make the angle mug. We'll see. Seems like I change my mind as soon as I make it up. Just hanging out and playing, kinda. Ooh, I don't know. This guy. Water in it and it'll be alright. I don't know. I'm like concerned. This one. There we go. Okay. Alright. Doing my slow. I haven't crashed anybody today. That's always a good sign. Alright. The last way. I'm not too sure. Let's see if we can do it. Nope, too wet. Okay. All right, let's see how it goes. I can do this one a little faster. Let's see how fast I can get this centered, huh? It's like always a little bit better when I rub it faster. Okay. Okay, here we go. It's a little dry in there. Wow. Shoot. How does that man do it? I tried. Alas. perfect, but it's kind of fun. You know? Yeah, not perfect, but kind of neat. All right, where's my freaking moon? I do like it. Like I said, not perfect, but neat. Big ass mug. Let's see. I might be able to work it just a little bit more. There we go. It'll be a nice mug. It's not a perfect ankle mug, but it's better than not a mango mug. Yeah, I do like it. Yeah. All right. What in the world? Oh, I dropped it. I remember now. I remember hitting the ground. I'm like, oh no, why? Bobby, your wire tool. Okay. All right. Am I satisfied with that bottom? Should I stop messing around? Yes, the answer is obvious. Will I stop messing around? Apparently not. Look what I've done. I need to chop that off. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's leave well enough alone, huh? Do I want to leave well enough alone? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. It'll be fun. Put a neat little handle on that. Alright. perfect ankle mug, but it really is kind of nice. I like the shape. I need a better tool. Well, I don't, but I want one. Okay. I think I made enough of a mess today. Just wanted to finish it off with a little look at our mug bodies. Oh, they're so sweet. Thanks guys for just kind of letting me experiment. This is not something I get to do very much, so really enjoyed hanging out with you and really enjoyed making these fun little mugs. Visit me. Visit my website. Maybe we can get you a mug. Good one. Oh, here's the studio dog, Ermey. Bye.